disciples of Buddha gave a talk, and then our Buddha, he stood by the door listening to the talk of his disciple. And then he just stood there and listened to the talk, and then his disciple asked, "Teachers, why are you not coming in? Why are you standing there?" The Buddha said, "If you be able to sit there and give a talk for the rest of your life, stand here and listen to the Dharma talk for the rest of my life. So if you keep on standing there and think that our Buddha is here, so..." This is my first time to Canada. And we arrived yesterday in the afternoon, and then today the first talk. And so I would like to know how many of you that already listened to the talk during the walk-walkies? Oh, all of you? Then where should I talk now? So how many of you actually take that into action and practice? It's really practice mindfulness. How was it?
Fantastic.
How was it? Will you be able to catch that monkey? Get in there? Sometimes you couldn't catch it. Half the time. But sometimes you'll be able to catch it. Will you admire yourself that you'll be able to catch that monkey? Do you know what I'm talking about? The monkey mind, right? That monkey just keep on jumping and jumping back and forth. And for us, when we are not mindful enough, we will not be able to see that monkey. Even though it's jumping, it's running, but we will not be able to see it because we are not mindful enough. And for that reason, we let that monkey take control. Do whatever he wants. Just like when I teach Aloka. When I teach Aloka, if I'm not mindful, then he's just going to do whatever he wants. And if I'm not clever enough to train him, to train the dog, it takes a lot of time and effort, even though every day you don't need much time every day. Right? 10-15 minutes per session to train the dog. But you have to do it continuously, every day. And then there's a lot of tricks around it. So when I train the dog, train Aloka, and I keep on reflecting it to my mind, to our human mind, is exactly the same. We are always chasing after the objects, after that ladies, after that guy, that man, after that car, after that house, after that clothing, after that purse, maybe. Everything. We always chasing after it. For that reason, we have so much stuff in our mind. That is why we couldn't see it, we couldn't catch it. Because we live with those habits, bad habits. And the habit is the karma. And today I get to go to Niagara Falls. I went there, the first time in my life that I went there. And they didn't let me go in because they asked me to put on my shoes. And I said, I don't have shoes. Can I borrow yours?
Well, how do you mean that?
And my team have to go buy me a sandal. And I put on my sandal and then I walk to the ship and then go out there and get wet. So basically we pay to get wet. And then while going there to get wet and then floating around in the water and I have a thought. The water is so clear, right? I think it's very clean because the color of it is very clear. And of course it's somewhere from the top, it's coming down. It hasn't gone through many places yet. So that is why the water is so clear and clean. But then when it came down, rushing through villages, but rushing through city and states and things like that, the water will get what? Get dirty, contaminated, right? We are the same. Just for the time that we are born, we are so pure. Right? Nothing in our mind yet is so pure. But days after day when we get things, we taste so many things, we smell so many things, and we hear so many things. In our life of defilements. Just like those water rushing through villages, city and states, and so many trash and so many things thrown into it. And that is why the water getting dirtier. And we too, our mind is getting dirtier each and every day. If we are not mindful enough to clean it every day, we are not cleaning our mind. Every day we take a shower every day, but we are just cleaning this physical body, the outside body, but not the inside body. We need to clean the inside body, not just this outside body. But we didn't. We live with this habit and we just live just like that. Now that our clothing, let it get a little bit dirty. We have to wash it. If you're not taking a bath for a day or two, you feel dirty and you feel uncomfortable with it, right? I didn't, because I was walking out with sometimes bath. And so we just care and worry for the external only in our life. What that does, we react, we suffer. Now we cry, I didn't do anything. I live beautifully. Why do I have to suffer like this? Why do I have to get all these things to my life? I didn't do anything. That is the nature of the human being that is always crying like that when we receiving challenges, difficulties in life. But we never ask ourselves during that time, how and why I have to show it this way. It's because we never pay attention to our thoughts, our words, and our actions when we live in this world. We just let the thoughts lead us wherever it wants. And then when we want to say something, we just speak. We just say it without by word, by action. And when to release it, we should have known that right at the beginning when all those things pop up. And if we be able to live that way, we will not face all the challenges and difficulties in life. Even if we do, and of course we will, because of our karma in the past. Right? It will come to us. But then when it comes to us, we know how to handle it. We know how to react. Instead of react with anger, we react with kindness, with a smile. And it will be settled, everything will be peaceful. It's just because we are not mindful enough, that's why we react with anger most of the time. When things are not the way we want, we react with anger, disappointed. That is why we should. So we cannot cry. We shouldn't cry. It's because all those we created, we have cultivated all those. And so that is why our Buddha, he taught us how to purify the mind. To purify the mind, we have to practice mindfulness every single day. Be mindful, even just one thought, one very little thought. When it arises, we need to be aware of it. And don't let it take control. It means that you just observe that thought and acknowledge it. Not trying to push it away or eliminate it. We just observe it, knowing that we have a thought. And let it come and go itself. For many years, we entertain our thoughts. When one thought arises, we follow it to the end, and then we imagine more to it. Added so much more into that thought with our imagination. Just one thought, you could draw. When one thought pops up, you would add more things into it. That is, you are painting it. Right? Just one picture, frame, little picture. Now, when you're not aware, then you expand that picture larger and larger and larger because you're adding colors to it. You're adding trees. You're adding more people. You add in more house and cars and everything to that picture. That is why that picture is expanding larger and larger. And then by the time you realize that you have gone too far, you already have like a giant pictures already. Right? That is what we do in every day, every time. Then how, if we keep doing that, how can we end suffering? This is when mindfulness takes control. Mindfulness jumps in. For that reason, that is why I share the message of today is going to be my peaceful day by practicing that every single morning will support us, will help us. Because with that statement itself, that is mindfulness practicing. Because when we write in that statement down on a piece of paper, if we pay full attention to it, to write that is practicing mindfulness, hand and mind pairing together, writing it down, and then eyes reading it over and over, be mindful when reading it, eyes and mind are pairing with each other, that is mindfulness practicing. And then when you read it out loud, while your eye is reading it, and your mind is reading it, and your eye is looking at those letters, that is also practicing mindfulness. Just one statement is so we can practice every single day. Why not? So how many of you actually do that every morning? Please let me raise your hand. Okay. 5% I hope. Why, if you already listened to the talks, probably many times, but why are we not writing that statement down in the morning? What do you do when you wake up? Morning prayer. We have prayed the whole life already. What else? Sin, metta, kindness. Do we really have metta and kindness? No, I am serious about this question. It's because if we're not mindful, if we are not mindful with our thoughts, our mind, our actions, our word, there will be no metta with us. That is why one of the lady, when she came and see me and she cried, saying that she'd been practicing metta, loving kindness for so long, and her teacher told her to radiate that metta towards the others. But she feels like she could not do it because she can't feel metta within herself. How can she do that to radiate it out to the people? We can. We can do that. We can radiate it to the others, but it's just a habit of doing it. Just like some people, when we say Namo Buddhaya, in Vietnamese, we also always say Ayidapha. Ayidapha. Right? We keep repeating this. Ayidapha. Namo Buddhaya. Just like that. We keep repeating ourselves like that without mindfulness. It became a habit of saying it, so whenever you drop something, Namo Buddhaya. Ayidapha. That became a habit. So you just say it out without intention. What are we doing? We are repeating ourselves back and forth in this samsara, in this circle of life. We're doing everything without intention. We practice to have that habit. that would not help us. That is why I saw this message that today is going to be my peaceful day for us to write down. And don't think that we are all already and we don't need to write it down. No. We need to write it down. If we get it older and older, we should write it down more than before. Because the more we get older, the more things we added to our mind. Remember the water rushing through the villages, streets, and everywhere? It collects trash. The water will collect a lot of trash, all kind of trash, into the water. If you remember one of my talks, I said, be patient just like water, that is our Buddha taught. Be patient like water. Patient like water is what? Look at the water. People throwing dead bodies into the water. Anything to the water. The water would never stop and argue with us. Hey, why did you throw that thing into me? The water will not do that. The water who does its job is just flow. Push it. Collect all that thing and just keep on flowing. Will not stop and react. Patient like water, just like that. But then, at the same time, the sample of it is collecting trash. That is an example. Collecting trash and flowing with it. We are too. We are collecting trash every single day. When we talk with the others, when we associate with the others, when we see things, when we hear things, when we talk, when we taste, when we smell, when we touch, we collect a lot of trash. Desire. And then we live with those trash every single day. Ask ourselves if that is right. Writing that statement down, today is going to be my peaceful day. Just write that down and read it over and over with our eyes and then read it out loud. To back to mindfulness, to rewire our mindset. Why not? We should. We should. It's because nowadays we don't have that habit of writing with our hands anymore. We type. And finger pointing to the screen. Right? And all those are habits. New habits. And so we should take that into action and practice. Don't just collect trash and then stock it up. Not help us, not shape us. We need to get rid of it by practicing it. So when you write that down, and then you repeat that in the morning, after that, you can do prayer. My peaceful day. You know, it's very powerful because when you do that, when you encounter problems during your day, because of that powerful message, it will remind you, oh, this morning when I woke up, I did write that down. Today is going to be my peaceful day, and I say it out loud too, that today should be my peaceful day. I shouldn't ruin it. I just shouldn't mess it up. I should live with it. So I will not respond to this person in an angry way. You see? If you don't do that, then nothing going to remind you. But if you have that mantra, it will remind you better because you repeated it every day. So I truly that after today, take that into action and practice and write that down every day. You know, I receive a lot of notes and many letters, and even like those notes he came to our temple for the event. Here, let me show you. Today is going to be my peaceful day. Wrote that down, every single line. They said, why should I waste so much paper every day like they said? And then I realized, no, I don't have to waste it. I can just write today and then I put the date after it. And then tomorrow, the second line, that's they fill it up every page. You see? But always date it after that line. And a lot of people, they now get very happy by doing that. There's something with their story they share with us after practicing it. So I hope you will do the same. You do the same to little and little every day, right? Don't carry it with you. It's heavy. I always say to myself that those are rocks that I'm carrying on my shoulder, in my neck every single day. So every day I have to get one piece of rock and I throw it up to the water or wherever. Just drop it. And that is, I told myself, whenever things happen, whenever you stress, that is the maximum. When you wake up in the morning, it's a different day. With a smile, today is going to be my peaceful day. Things that happened yesterday will not carry to the next day. That's how we should live. And the more you practice, you don't need a night. You need just hours. And when you're better, you're an expert, within a couple of minutes, you'll be able to let it go. But we have to practice it diligently every single day. Places that we have to go there, practice mindfulness, meditation for 10 days, retreat, things like that. But ask ourselves after the retreats, what do you gain from it? Right? Because you need a place to practice. And then after that, no more. We don't want that. We want us to practice every single day, and that's going to be everywhere. Not at the temple. Not just You be able to practice that everywhere you go. You
Life is, in so many ways, a profound and quiet pilgrimage. From the moment we first learn to place one foot in front of the other, we become travelers on a journey that spans the length of our years. We walk through the shifting seasons of our lives, traversing landscapes of joy, valleys of grief, and the vast, open plains of our ordinary days. Yet, so often, we are so hurried, so focused on the next destination, that we forget we are on a pilgrimage at all. We treat our days as mere stepping stones to some future moment when we believe we will finally be happy, finally be secure, or finally be at peace. But true peace is not a destination waiting for us at the end of the road. It is a way of walking. It is the gentle art of arriving perfectly in the present moment, exactly as it is, with a heart open to whatever the path may bring. This journey is not about crossing physical borders or accumulating miles. It is an inward expedition, a deep settling into the truth of who we are and how we are intimately connected to the world around us. When we look closely at the steps we take, we begin to realize that the most profound pilgrimage we will ever make is the journey from our anxious minds back into the sanctuary of our own hearts. As we walk this path, we inevitably come face to face with the baggage we carry. It is fascinating to notice that the heaviest burdens are rarely physical. We carry the weight of our past regrets, our future anxieties, and, perhaps most of all, the deep-seated demands of our own ego. There is a deeply moving reflection that arises when we consider the twilight of our lives, a time when the urgency of our youth fades and the desire for true release becomes paramount. Imagine reaching your 83rd year, looking back on a long, rich life, and holding one singular, fervent wish: to die well, peacefully, and without the heavy baggage of old habits. It is a beautiful, universally human desire. Yet, within this very wish lies a subtle paradox that mindfulness invites us to examine. When we declare, "I want to die peacefully," we inadvertently place a tremendous amount of weight on that single letter, I. We construct a solid, permanent self that demands a specific outcome. We say we do not want this, but we want that. We do not want suffering, but we demand serenity. In our profound effort to find peace, we bring our ego right to the forefront, unknowingly tying ourselves to the very attachments we are trying to release. The wisdom of non-self, or what ancient traditions call anatta, offers us a radical and liberating alternative. It gently points out that this permanent, demanding I is an illusion, a story we have told ourselves for so long that we have forgotten it is just a story. When we constantly place the I in front of everything, especially in a culture that champions individualism and personal achievement, we set ourselves up for a quiet, persistent suffering. We become like travelers refusing to put down a heavy suitcase even after we have reached our room. To practice non-self is not to erase our humanity or deny our existence. Rather, it is to soften our grip. It is the realization that when the I dissolves, when we stop demanding that reality conform to our personal preferences, the struggle ceases. We realize that there is no solid I to defend, no I to be offended, and no I that must perfectly choreograph its own exit from this world. There is only the natural, flowing reality of life itself. When the I is gently set aside, there are no unyielding walls of ice, the heart thaws, and true peace rushes in to fill the space. Of course, letting go of this deeply ingrained self is not easy, and the journey is rarely without its bitter winters. There are times on our pilgrimage when the conditions become incredibly harsh. We all face our own versions of freezing snow and treacherous ice. We face physical illness, the shattering loss of loved ones, financial ruin, or the quiet, suffocating despair of daily stress. During these times, the mind screams at us to stop, to give up, or to numb the pain. It feels as though we are walking into a blinding blizzard, our spiritual feet bleeding, the cold seeping into our bones. The temptation to abandon the path of awareness is immense. Yet, it is precisely in these moments of severe weather that our true resilience is forged. When the storms of life hit, we do not need a complicated philosophy. We only need a few essential provisions in our invisible backpack. The first is determination, a quiet, unshakable vow to keep moving forward, no matter how fierce the wind. This is not a loud, aggressive forcing, but a deep, inner resolve that says, I will not abandon myself in this darkness. The second is patience. Patience is the softening of the heart that allows the storm to be exactly what it is without demanding it pass quicker than it naturally will. It is the understanding that winter cannot be rushed into spring. And the third is right effort, the wise application of our energy. It is knowing when to take a firm step forward and when to rest, understanding that both are necessary for the long journey. When we walk with these three pillars, even the most agonizing steps become infused with a strange, sustaining grace. We discover that we can endure far more than our fragile egos ever thought possible. We walk until we think we can walk no more, and then, nourished by determination, patience, and right effort, we find we have the strength for just one more step. Yet, even with these tools, navigating our modern landscape presents its own unique blizzards. We live in an era of unprecedented noise, a time when spiritual teachings, wellness trends, and life hacks are bombarded at us through glowing screens every hour of the day. In this overwhelming marketplace of ideas, finding our true north can feel impossible. We seek guidance to calm our minds, only to find ourselves drowning in a sea of contradictory voices. We see people retreating into digital echo chambers, engaging in practices that promise instant enlightenment but instead breed isolation and detachment from reality. We witness the tragic phenomenon of individuals, particularly the youth, becoming so lost in ungrounded spiritual pursuits that they disconnect entirely from their shared humanity, speaking only to abstract concepts while forgetting how to talk to the person right next to them. This is the danger of grasping at right views without true understanding. How, then, do we discern what is genuine in a world full of noise? How do we know we are walking the right path? The answer is beautifully simple and rests entirely in our own direct experience. We do not need to rely on the loudest voice or the most popular trend. We only need to look at the fruits of our own practice. When you engage with a teaching or a meditation, ask yourself, does this bring me a deep, sustainable peace? Does it help me manage my emotions with greater kindness? Most importantly, is my ego shrinking, or is it growing? If a practice makes you feel superior to others, if it inflates your sense of self-importance, or if it causes you to build higher walls around your heart, it is a sign to pause and rethink. But if you find that your need to be right is softening, if your capacity for wholesome deeds is expanding, and if the I is becoming less demanding and more inclusive, then you are walking in the direction of truth. The right path always leads to a smaller ego and a larger, more loving connection to the world. When we begin to cultivate this genuine inner peace, a miraculous transformation occurs in how we interact with the world around us. There is often a tremendous pressure, especially in modern activism and social discourse, to force the world to change, to aggressively fight for peace. But true, lasting peace cannot be imposed from the outside. It must be awakened from within. The purpose of a mindful life is not to violently shake the world awake, but to raise the awareness of peace simply by embodying it. Think of it as walking quietly through a crowded, chaotic city street. If you walk with genuine stillness, your every step grounded in mindfulness, people will notice. They will pause, if only for a fraction of a second, feeling the sudden, contrasting quiet of your presence. This is how true societal transformation happens. It is not always through grand sweeping gestures, but through the intimate, quiet ripple effect of a single human being who has decided to stop going to war with themselves. When you practice mindfulness to bring peace to your own mind, you naturally begin to share that peace with your loved ones. You bring a different energy to your family dinner table. You respond with patience rather than reactivity to a difficult coworker. You offer a genuine, unhurried smile to a neighbor. One by one, heart by heart, the awareness spreads. The more people who commit to this quiet internal revolution, the better the society becomes. We are invited to walk together in spirit, turning our ordinary interactions into profound opportunities for healing. To anchor ourselves in this practice, to truly step into this way of being, we do not need elaborate rituals or mystical states of consciousness. We have been given the most profound and simple tool right beneath our noses, our breath. In a culture that is always striving, even our attempts at meditation can become another exhausting project. We try to control our breathing, holding it, forcing it, judging it, trying to achieve a perfect state of calm. But the breath is not something to be conquered, it is a gentle friend waiting to welcome us home. To practice true presence, we are invited to simply observe the natural rhythm of life flowing in and out of our bodies. If you sit quietly right now, you do not need to hold your breath or force it to be deep. You simply breathe in and breathe out, exactly as you normally do. Allow your body to breathe itself. All you need to do is add a soft, gentle awareness to the sensation. Notice the slight coolness at the edge of your nostrils as the air enters. Notice the subtle warmth as it leaves. If the mind wanders, as it inevitably will, there is no need for self-reprimand. You just return, gently, to the next breath. This simple act of noticing is revolutionary. In that brief moment of awareness, you are not regretting the past, and you are not fearing the future. You are fully alive, perfectly held in the embrace of the present. This unforced, natural breathing becomes a refuge, a quiet harbor we can return to no matter how turbulent the day becomes. As we deepen this practice of presence, we discover that we do not walk this path alone. The journey inward inevitably leads us outward, toward a profound and beautiful connection with others. This is the essence of community, the beloved gathering of spiritual friends who support and uplift one another. When we walk with an open heart, we recognize the incredible kindness that surrounds us. We see it in the volunteers who offer their time, in the strangers who offer a warm meal, and in the poetic, tearful expressions of gratitude from those whose lives have been touched by a simple message of love. We even see it in the tender, unconditional care given to a quarantined animal, a pure expression of love that requires nothing in return. These moments of shared humanity are not incidental to the path, they are the path. When someone stands up to offer a verse of gratitude, wishing oceans of pure joy and bright wisdom for all beings, they are echoing the very heartbeat of the universe. This boundless loving kindness is the ultimate fruit of letting go of the self. We realize that our liberation is intimately bound up with the liberation of everyone else. We celebrate the successes of others as if they were our own, and we hold their sorrows with the same tenderness we would offer ourselves. In this beloved community, there are no strangers, only fellow pilgrims walking each other home through the inevitable trials and radiant joys of life. Ultimately, this mindful journey asks of us only one thing: to fully inhabit the life we have been given. It is an invitation to stop waiting for a better moment, a better set of circumstances, or a better version of ourselves, and to fall deeply in love with the ordinary miracle of here and now. The snow will fall, the ice will test us, and the heavy bags of our ego will occasionally try to weigh us down. But beneath it all, there is a quiet, enduring peace that is always available. We need only to remember to breathe, to touch the earth with awareness, and to meet each rising challenge with determination, patience, and a soft, open heart. Let us vow to cherish every fleeting second, to walk gently upon this earth, and to be a quiet, shining beacon of peace in a world that so desperately needs it. Let every step be a homecoming, and let every breath be a silent, beautiful song of gratitude for the profound privilege of simply being alive.